So welcome back, everybody, for another episode number 4 of A Drink with Jake. I have a super special guest here. He's got a very long bio, so I'm going to go a few really quick. Doctor, obviously went to the School of Pacific Northwest University, medical school. You were a doctor working in sports medicine, correct? Yep, working in sports medicine. And worked with some of the Boise State University athletes, a lot of other athletes I saw, even some cage muscle athletes, as we all know, which is pretty awesome. So I've got Dr. Caleb Redden. Is it Redden? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Awesome, man. Well, sick. Well, thank you so much for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Jake. It's truly a pleasure. I've been a big fan for a long time, watching through your athletic career, and having the opportunity to chat with you today is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's been cool to we were just kind of talking about it, to meet all the cage muscle athletes and things like that. So jumping on is super cool. So obviously that was a short description. Obviously I missed out the Titan Games, which was just epic. We were kind of talking about that a little bit, and we can kind of get to that. But first, why don't you go ahead and kind of just give everybody, a quick story of your background growing up and what you're doing now.
Yeah, you bet. Well, again, thank you for having me. And to anyone who's listening, you're here because you find positivity and you find value in listening to what Jake is saying and the people that he brings on. So first, I'm humbled to be counted as one of those. And I think you're in the right place. Jake's someone who definitely sends out a lot of positivity in the world. So stay tuned. A lot of great things coming. But yeah, I grew up in a very small town in Wyoming. And by small town, I mean real small, like population 400. So the truth is, you can have greatness can come from anywhere, under any little rock in this country. You can, doesn't matter where your roots are, you can find greatness. Grew up tiny little town. I was the first person in my family to go to college and get a degree in kinesiology and chemistry, and I was an athlete in college as well. Went to play football at Utah State and broke my back, and then had a couple of surgeries and was unable to play football, but I ended up on the cheerleading team of all things. So I'm actually not nearly as acrobatic or gymnastically talented as you are, but can do some pretty cool stuff. I don't know if I still could, but I could in college.
There we go.
So yeah, was a cheerleader there, and then so a full ride scholarship athlete, and then also had a full-time job. And I worked in oil and gas. So I worked as an oil and gas guy, worked on drilling rigs, construction, drove truck, was a bouncer, a lot of very non-traditional jobs for medical school, that's for sure. When I interviewed and applied to medical school, it was after I'd graduated from college. I'd been working in the oil patch for a year afterwards. Had a total of about 6 years under my belt of experience in the real world working. And I can remember sitting across from the people who were interviewing me, and their jaws were just dropping open when I was like, yeah, I can throw chains and turn pipes on drilling rigs. And they were like, who is this guy? But yeah, I went to medical school, and at the whole time had a family. I've got 3 kids, so I kind of know what dad life is like, and what it's like to be both an injured athlete and a recovered athlete. And went to medical school and excelled and did well in sports medicine. I always knew that's where I wanted to be, because I really, I love helping people get back to their sports, right? So partly because of my story and knowing what it's like to lose your identity as an athlete and be injured, and then having to crawl and fight your way back. So I know what that feels like, and I feel like I can help a lot of people along the way doing that. And so that's what my job is now, sports medicine physician. And I work a lot with human performance, elite athletes, but as well, like just everyday average folks who get hurt and want to keep playing ping pong or playing croquet or golf or whatever it is,
Right.
And yeah, so it's been a great career for me. I get to work with athletes, and I've partnered the real world sort of application that I have as a blue collar guy, very blue collar, down to earth guy. And I've married that with a white coat physician's dream job. And yeah, it's been a great run so far. I love being a dad. That's by far and away my biggest success in life. My calling, rather, I guess, is to be a daddy. Just phenomenal. Love that. And my career second, and still trying to be an athlete. I'm in my Mid to late 30s. I mean, I just turned 25, but it
Yeah.
seems like I keep turning 25.
Yep.
So I definitely passed my prime, but I still feel like I'm doing pretty good and had an opportunity to compete with Dwayne Johnson in the Titan Games. And man, what a choice experience and a blessing that was. But it's still running, so people can watch that on NBC. But yeah, really pretty phenomenal. Something you'd be amazing at, Jake. You're strong and super agile, so you ought to throw your name in the hat.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys are a lot bigger than me, though, so I think there's some advantage there too.
There was definitely some beasts, man. There's some big dudes, like for sure. I'm not a huge guy. I'm kind of average, but there's some guys there that made me feel real small. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I bet. That's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
it's an awesome story. I love hearing. I mean, it's kind of blows my mind, like you said, the first of your family to go and get a degree from college and you become a doctor, man. Like that. That's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how does that happen, man? Like,
That's kind of funny. A salute, by the way. I got
yeah,
myself a cold
cheers.
fresca here.
Nice.
Salute.
Love it, man.
Um, I'm pretty blessed. My parents saw the value in education. We lived in a town where I had friends that were dropping out of high school to go work at jobs making six figures in the oil patch.
Wow.
And so there wasn't a huge incentive for people to go to college, right? I mean, spend all this money and time in a city where you can stay right here, keep fishing on the Green River and make a lot of money. So,
Yeah.
my parents saw the value in education and always supported me, and I'm grateful for that. And I didn't start out thinking I wanted to be a doctor. I just knew that there was nothing I would regret about going to college and spending a few years educating myself. And it was an arduous journey. I dropped out once.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's not something everybody knows, but I did. I dropped out after my first year.
Interesting.
Wasn't quite ready for school life, and I partied a little too hard in a lot of ways, and I needed some time to grow up and figure out what I was going to do. So I took 3 or 4 years off. Really sort of built myself as a person. Went through some dark places, came
For
out
sure.
successful on the other side. And when I went back to school, I remember my dad telling me like, "Hey, man," he's like, "There's no reason why you shoot for the moon. Like, there's no reason you can't do anything you want to do. You've got the work ethic and the gumption. Like, use those blue collar roots and do something with your life and do what you want to do, right?" So, and I remember him telling me it was a really cool kind of talk we had one day up in the mountains. We were bow hunting, and he's like, don't worry about money, don't worry about fame, fortune, prestige. He's like, accolades. Do the right thing for the just do the right thing for the right reasons, right? So
Right.
don't worry about other people condemning your choices or applauding your choices. Make the choice for you. Don't worry about money. Make the career choice that's going to make you the most happy, and go for it. And so, that, and then I had a couple other really key influences in my life that helped me to choose the career as a physician. But once I decided to do it, man, it was all go full send, like no
Yeah.
turning back. But there's definitely been some jokes like, yeah, we wanted you to go to college, but we didn't think you were going to go for 15 years. Like,
Yeah.
time to grow up and get a job now, buddy. Like, enough of this professional student business.
Right. Yeah, that's a long time, man. I can't even
It is.
imagine. So that's cool. And so you graduated and then you did, what is it? Is it 2 or is it 4 years of
Medical
residency?
school. Yeah, no, right. Yep. So medical school. So I got a degree. Medical school is 4 years.
4
And
years.
then I did a residency, which was 3 years, and then a fellowship, which was an extra year. So a total of 4 years
Dang.
postdoctoral training. And those were by far and away the most grueling years of my life. Anybody who goes through residency will sort of understand. It's just sort of like this, like you're drinking out of a fire hydrant, and it's incredible, man. It's painful. You work like, in my program, every fourth day I was on call. I had a 24-hour shift with a max number of hours of 28. So I would work most of the time 28 hours straight. When you're on call, you're actually in the hospital working. It's
Right.
not like you're at home, but
Hanging out waiting for a call or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
you're in the hospital working. And so for 3 years, that's what I did. And man,
Dang.
you're sort of always tired. You're like never recovered.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I've got a buddy that I did gymnastics with that just graduated, so he's going to start his residency. And
Oh,
I mean,
heaven help
just
him.
yeah, dude, just studying. We'd be like, "Hey, man, we're just going to get some lunch." He's like, "I can't. I'm studying." I'm like, "How is it possible you can study for like 18 hours a day?" He's like, "You
Yeah.
have to."
You just learn how to do it. I think that's what's cool about life though, right? So like You don't, I don't think people rise to the occasion. I think they fall to their level of training. And so,
I
depending
like
on
that.
what the demands are of your job or your life or your career, whatever it is, like, in those moments where you're challenged and you need to be able to rise, like the experiences in life, the hills and the peaks and valleys that you've gone through prepare you for the next steps, right? And so they try to prepare you for everything in residency. It's baptism by fire. So
Yeah.
good luck to your buddy, man.
Yeah.
It's a grueling struggle, but it's definitely one that you'll learn a lot from. But
For
I think
sure.
that's with anything in life, right? Any challenge that you overcome, like, just makes you that much better and
Oh
prepares
yeah.
you for the next.
Yeah, you're going through it and it seems kind of like hell, and then after that you're like, man, that was kind of cool actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Glad I did that once. Don't know if I want to do it again, but glad I
Yeah,
survived.
for sure, for sure. And all while having a family, so three kids, right?
Yeah.
Three, all boys, or do you have a girl?
Two boys and a little girl, and I'll
Two
tell you,
boys.
I we joke that she's the favorite, but I'm beginning to think. No, I'm just kidding. The boys are not. The boys used to be for sale, but we've taken them off the market. We're gonna keep them.
There we go.
Yeah, and you're expecting, right?
We are, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Got
yeah,
super
yeah.
stoked. Yeah, yeah, stoked, man. We're about 16 weeks right now, so
Oh gosh,
gonna
man,
have
there's
a.
nothing better.
Yeah, that's what I hear. We're super excited, and it took a little while for it to happen. So we're blessed and thankful that it finally happened.
Yeah,
So
it's an amazing opportunity, man. Like, being a dad, having a family is just, man, it's awesome. Like, last night I took my kids and wife and we went and rode razors and four-wheelers out in the mud, and I'm telling you, we're still picking the mud out of our smiles from last night, man. It was so awesome.
yeah, I saw you guys' pictures. You guys do that. That's something obviously I'm interested in too, is
Yeah.
the outdoor life
Oh
you
yeah.
guys still have. And I was seeing all these posts of you guys going out there, going camping and dragging out. Is it a fifth wheel that you guys got?
Yeah, we got a camp trailer. Yeah, I kind of got sick of sleeping on the dirt, man. Like,
Yeah.
call me soft if you want, but
Yeah.
I'm glamping from now on. I feel
Oh,
like
dude.
I paid my dues of sleeping in the dirt, but
I bet, man. I came home on my first trip. I went camping. I didn't camp a lot when I was younger or when I was training, just with how much we were training. So I came home, and first time I went camping, I was like, sleeping in a tent, you could take it everywhere. I had a bear come through our tent, get in our ice chest, and I was like, get me a trailer.
Yep, nope, 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 yep, nope. It's all fun and good until some black bear come yogi come get your picnic
Yep,
basket.
exactly. Yeah. But that's cool, man. I mean, with how much you work, you've got three kids and you guys get to go enjoy stuff. I think that's super cool. You guys find the time. You would think most people kind of come home and, slouch around for a little while, but you find time to work out and take the family out. That's pretty sweet.
I'll tell you what, man, I found the most inspiration comes from on high, and that high for me is the mountains and the rivers. Like, I
Oh yeah.
love watching you fish, man, because,
Oh,
like, I totally, like, there's only a few places in this world where I can feel quiet and feel at peace. I've got a bit of a restless soul and an ambitious soul that is a blessing and a curse, but it makes it hard for me to unwind. But I can
yeah.
feel completely at peace when I'm on the river, fish or no fish, just being
Yep.
in the river, man. I'll tell you, there's just a certain level of just that certain level of grounding that comes from being in nature, and being able to share that with your family is, gosh, there's no greater gift. So definitely something that I know you'll do with your kids, and super experience that you're gonna it becomes such a even better when you're sharing it with your family, right? So
Right.
I selfishly love being in the mountains, fishing, hunting, bow hunting,
Yeah.
four-wheeler riding, camping, whatever, but mountain biking, but being able to share it with your kids, man, is a really special opportunity.
Yeah. Making those memories, man. That's for sure.
Hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, we got to get together. We got to get you out here and we'll go fishing or I'll come up there. Are you guys you're in Boise?
Yeah, we live in Meridian, so just outside of Boise, but I work in, Boise area. But yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and I've been to Reno a bunch of times. Like, I actually went down there to apply for both medical school and residency. We've traveled down there with Boise State for games.
Right on.
I've got friends that kind of live in the area. We've skied at Tahoe, so yeah, we
Nice.
definitely need to come check it out and go fishing together, man. I want to come check out your gym too.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for me. Like, when I go on trips, people want to go to an art museum or they want to go to a local restaurant or whatever. Like, but for me,
Right.
when I hit a new town, man, I want to go train at a new
Yeah.
gym. Like, that's a really cool deal for me.
Yeah, that's
Love to
fun,
do
man.
that.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you're ever out here, or we'll just plan something. Come on out and we'll go fishing. We'll take you out. We can hit Tahoe and hit some workouts and and get it all in. So
Yeah, man. I want some pipes like yours, dude.
yeah, right. I'm fading. The ring routine was helping me out for a while, but now just with with work and what I lift now, that it's a whole different type of training. That's what I kind
Yeah.
of everybody when I was in high school, they're like, oh man, how much do you bench? And I'm like, I've actually never benched. I
Never
don't know.
benched. Yeah.
So it's definitely a different training now, but
Hmm.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day how much I benched. So I was doing a podcast, and they were like, "How much? What's your max on the three big lifts?" And I was like, "Well, like I don't know. I haven't maxed in probably like 5 years. I'm like, I work up to about 455 on bench every few weeks, but like I don't know if I can do more or not. I mean, that like starts to hurt after a while. Like not a good kind of hurt, you know."
That's a lot of weight to be pushing up on a
Yeah,
not
man.
a max day.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's cool, man. Well, so what do you got going on next? We'll get to Titan Games soon. So
Yes.
you just finished that. It's still airing. It's still on. Is this
Hmm.
this is second season, right?
Second season. Yep, and it's doing
Second
really
season.
well.
That is awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we
So
could let's just jump into that.
yeah. All right.
What was the whole experience on that? Did you apply? Did they reach out to you?
Yeah. So
Did
it's a
you
little
get
bit of.
tequila from the Rock? Like
Oh
how is
man, everybody's asking about the
he's got his post.
Hermana Tequila. Oh,
Uh,
he's pushing that hard right
yeah,
now.
he is. He is.
You know, it was an interesting situation. I didn't apply traditionally. They reached out. They have headhunters that basically go
Okay.
around and they look for certain types of people. And so, if you always need to put your best foot forward. You never know the value of any opportunity. So don't close the door on any, right? So like
Right.
always trying to put my best foot forward, whether that's through social media, my reputation, my work ethic, all those things. And so one of their headhunters had saw some of the work I had done with some other companies in the fitness world and was like, hey, you're a physician, you're a dad, you're a doctor, like you're a bodybuilder, like there's this show called the Titan Games. Would you be interested in applying for it? I said, yeah. I mean, I'd heard of it. I like Dwayne Johnson. I think he stands for a lot of great things. I'm like, let me take a look. And my kids love American Ninja Warrior. Like, they
Yeah.
love it,
Cool.
right? They're like, Dad, you're probably too big for an American Ninja Warrior. Not quite coordinated enough, but maybe you could do the Titan Games, right? You can swing a hammer.
There you go.
So I applied. Once they reached out to me, I had to do. There was like a 60-page memoir and story and background check, and then I had to do a Skype interview, and then I had to do another Skype interview with their whole team. And Dwayne Johnson had to review it and look at everything and make sure that he was good with it. And then out of this huge field of people, they invited probably like 60 of us down to LA for a combine, which was an 8-hour grueling mess. I mean, it was like max deadlift, VO2 max pull
Oh,
up, push
jeez.
ups, 40-yard dash timed. Like it was insane. It was like NFL combine times 3. I've done NFL combines and not felt nearly as terrible afterwards.
Wow.
But I made it through the combine and did well enough to be selected on their team. They took 18 men and 18 women, and then I flew out the next day. I was supposed to speak in Hawaii at an ortho conference. I missed the first couple days for this combine, so I flew to Hawaii, spent the week there with my wife, flew back, and they called me like, "Hey man, we're gonna take you if you're willing to come." So I said sure, and they at that point, I had to change work. I mean, it was like 2 weeks later. I had to change work, get a bunch of time off, get my shifts covered, and then fly to Georgia. We filmed in Georgia for 3 weeks,
Okay.
and it was tough. Like my experience with Hollywood was definitely an uphill battle. I didn't realize
Yeah.
how much work goes into filming that kind of stuff. I mean, it was 10, 12, 14-hour days every day, and it
Okay.
was if you weren't filming, we had 3 afternoons off out of the whole time I was there,
Dang.
and the rest of the time was just nonstop filming for 2 minutes of fame on TV. But
Right.
Dwayne Johnson's a pretty amazing guy. He's got a hilarious sense of humor. He's grounded, down to earth, just like he seems. He really is that type of a guy, and all the people that work with him are that type of people.
That's
And
awesome.
the athletes that they brought were all really special, phenomenal people in their own right. Some of them are just average, everyday Joes. Some are professional athletes. There were a lot of Olympians that were there. A
Cool.
lot of Olympians, man. A lot of those
Yeah.
guys, those people, they're pretty driven people. They have a need to succeed for sure. So it was great to
That's
be
cool.
around that quality and that caliber of folks, and it's humbling to be counted as one of them. So
Yeah.
The competitions were fun, man. They were intense. They were incredible. I got to compete against Joe Thomas and Matt Chan, which I knew Matt Chan was going into it, and I got to compete against him, and it was great. I won some, I lost some, kind of like in life.
Oh
You
yeah,
have to have a short memory, forget the losses fast, don't
that's
revel in the
right.
success, and just keep chugging along. But it was a great experience. My kids got to meet some of their childhood heroes and watch their daddy compete on a big stage. And gosh, what an opportunity to be able to share that with them.
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. So you were saying obviously long days. Was that was that part of making the challenges harder? I mean, obviously, like what you guys were doing seemed pretty difficult and challenging in itself. But was it even harder by working the 10 to 12-hour days
Yeah.
on top of having to do the physical
Oh
activities?
man, we were so exhausted, man, and we were living in this little we were living in Union City, Georgia, the Days Inn, and the Days Inn people were amazing to us. But gosh, little teeny hotel room, trying to feed yourself. I ate a lot of canned green beans and pre-cooked chicken. Um, but yeah, it was tough. Those days, like you're up early and then it's hair, makeup, hurry up and wait, and hurry
Yeah.
up and wait, hurry up and wait. Okay, now film and try to be excited, try to be happy. Now we want you to look sad, like trying to get all these different roles and shots and action shot after action shot. And then okay, now it's your turn to compete. So hurry up and get amped up to compete. But we're going to film you going out on the floor 10 different times. And we're going to film you getting ready 10 different times. And now this is the crowd 10 different times. And so the adrenaline spike and dump was just palpable. And oh man, that was definitely one of the hardest parts for me. I mean, I'm an athlete. Like I'm used to track meets and hockey games and football games. And,
Right.
when the gun goes off, you go to war,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't like that. It was hard. It was
Yeah.
really hard to get used to that. But at the same time, it just sort of made it was another added challenge that you were able to overcome and feel like, hey, look, now I've figured out how to do this. I can do this now. So,
Right.
but it definitely was grind.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like that's kind of similar to, so I don't know if you knew, but I did season 10 of Ninja Warrior. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just so, it's not what you think when you see it on TV, right? Like you see
Right.
it on TV, it's just this bang, bang, bang.
Yep.
That's what you don't see is the whole, like you said, exactly, hurry up and wait. And that is like one of the worst parts is like, you're just already amped up. You want to go and then wait for 5, 6 hours. And did
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
did you guys film during the day or was it all day, just at night? Was it?
It changed. A lot of it was early morning and then late in the evenings.
Okay.
They had like union rules, right? So like we would go, and then if like the union was gonna, like if the film crews hit their hours, it was like, hey,
Yeah.
we're done for the day. We're gonna start at this time tomorrow. And part of it was DJ's schedule, right? So what he had available and what he was doing. There was one night where I was supposed to compete, and it ended up getting to be 11 o'clock. We'd been there since 7. We got to 11, and they're like, well, just the way the day worked, we're not going to have you guys compete. We're going to have you do more B-roll stuff tonight and film this other set. So we filmed it at it was like till 12:31 in the morning. And then the next day we showed up at 7 again and we competed the next morning. So
Jeez.
yeah, it was tough. But I mean, the stuff that you understand because you've gone through that. Yeah, it was hard. And with Ninja Warrior, I don't know how many opportunities you guys have to go through the course, or you know how many days you were there. But for us, like after the week started to drag on, that got really old.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Yeah, that's it's so different for Ninja Warriors. We got there like the day or two before, like 2 days before. You do all the B-roll stuff that one day, which it definitely doesn't seem anywhere near as grueling as that because it's B-roll and all the interviews and everything one day, and then the next day you show up and it's just filming. So it's literally
Yeah.
just those 2 days. But I did mine in LA, which is at Universal.
Yep.
So it's all outside, and for the lighting and the video, they don't start filming. They ask you to get there at like 3 or 4, but they don't start filming till like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I think they have 100, like a little over 100 people that run the course, and same thing. The union hours hit right at like 11:55 at night, and so we sat around for. I think they needed like an hour break. So then I ended
Yeah.
up running at like 2:30 in the morning, I think. So it's like it was that whole been there since 4, but you run at 2:30 in the morning, and then if you're in the top whatever, if you're going to make it to the next day, the final round, they have you wait for like
Hmm.
interviews and wait until like it's all done to show who's going on next. And I got
Yeah.
bumped out like right at the last one. So it was like
Ah,
5:30 in the morning, and they're like, okay, you can go home now. And I'm
yeah.
like, I just
Thanks a
waited.
lot.
Yeah, I
Thanks a
just waited
lot.
3 hours, guys. Come on. But
Yeah.
same thing, super,
Oh,
super fun, but it's one of those things where you just don't expect what it is going to come, but super,
yep.
super fun. So
That's kind of how my experience was too. Like the last challenge that Matt Chan and I went in up against with the barrel challenge, he beat me. And that was like late Thursday night, super late Thursday night. And I jumped up Friday morning and I filmed with him for 3 or 4 hours in the morning. And then I was like, I gotta catch flights back, guys, because I gotta work. Like if I'm done, I gotta work. So I flew home and I went back to work on Sunday. But yeah, it's like there was one competitor I remember that he lost early, and like he lost at night 11:30. They had him on a plane at 4 a.m. Like,
oh wow.
just got to get you home. So here's the
Yeah.
next flight out, and it's just like, oh, yikes.
Oh, that's rough, man. But that's cool. It seems like a pretty sweet experience. That's cool to hear about. Dwayne, that dude is just awesome, man. He seems so cool and just down to earth, especially for all of his accolades and what he's done, what he's created.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time just chatting with me and my family. It was really cool.
Super cool.
Yeah, he had just lost his dad, and I told him, I gave him a hug and told him sorry, and told him from a dad to another dad, thank you for letting my kids be here,
Yeah,
and he just was like, he popped his earphone out, he's like, cut the cameras, and just talked like a real person, and
that's
he
cool.
because he is like he's just a
Right.
real guy, and
Yeah.
he gets treated differently, I think, because of his status, but I think he appreciates just being. I mean, I just treated him like a buddy, and I made him treat me like a buddy. I wasn't gonna, like you're not so special, DJ. Yeah, you're
Right.
6'4", 260. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit. Like
Yeah.
I just kind of you just busting his chops a little bit. And he likes that. Like there was one competition I did where I had just finished one and had to gas up and go again. Like an hour later, I was so tired. And he's walking out. And he's looking at me. He's like, "Doc, you good? You ready to go?" And I'm like, yeah. And he starts laughing. He's like, you recovered? And I'm like, no. And he just laughs like, screw it. Let's rock. And I'm like, yeah, full send, whatever. It was funny. He just gave me the nod like, you'll be all right. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll live or I'll die. One or the other. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Let's go either way.
Yeah, either way, let's
Yeah.
roll.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
he's pretty funny, dude. A lot
That's
of those
cool.
guys are like Joe Thomas is the same way. Joe Thomas has got a heart of gold, man. I mean,
Yeah.
they have to kind of portray him as sort of a bad guy, right? Because he's like the
Right.
Titan to beat or whatever. But he is the kindest, the nicest big teddy bear, man, and beast, dude. Dude is a beast for sure. Like 6'7", 6'8", and just
Jeez.
ripped, and he's an athlete for sure. But gosh, he's a cool guy, and we were bullshitting behind the scenes too with him, and he's just a cool, down to earth guy. So
Right.
really awesome, really cool
That's
guy.
yeah, that's cool. Seems like a lot of good people on there, so that's
Yeah.
awesome. So finish that up and then back to works, which is probably pretty tiring again,
Yep.
right from that to work. So what's next? What do you got going on? Is it just
Trying
just
to get
work or
trying to get COVID situation sort of under control, right? So then not
right,
trying to bring that up because that's everybody's tired of hearing about that. But at
right,
work in the healthcare field, that's been something that's been a challenge and a struggle and something
right,
that we, are seeing sort of firsthand in a different light than most. And so, I got back from the Titan Games, did the filming, and within like 2 or 3 weeks, man, the world changed. And so it's been kind of nonstop since then. But once we sort of get that sort of under control, we're working on building a human performance center and a gym ourselves here in Boise. I work with the Mecca Gym as a medical
right.
director, and we're going to build a facility that's going to be just awesome. So looking forward to that. That's a big project. It's going to take a lot of time to build.
Yeah,
Um, but having a sports facility that's going to be big, I think is going to be really cool. So
that's
hoping
awesome.
to do that. Hoping to get that built. Obviously, it's not off the ground yet, so there's a lot of moving parts that go into doing something on that
Oh yeah.
scale. But the Mecca is an amazing place, and so I really appreciate being able to be part of that. But the rest of it is like I'm always sort of chomping at the bit for the next big thing, right? So
Right.
as soon as I got back, I started talking to using this opportunity to progress my career. And so I've got some things coming down the pipe that are pretty awesome, pretty big. I can't really talk about them just yet, but in the next 3 to 6 months, there's going to be some new things for me that are going to be pretty exciting, and happy to share with people when they come up. But and I
That's
don't want to sound mysterious. That's not my nature, but
awesome.
there's a couple of things I can't really talk about just yet.
Sure.
But we'll have to come back together and crack another drink, and we'll
Dude,
have
for
another
sure.
chat about it in the future. But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
some good stuff. And I think that's the thing, is like, you can never put value on an opportunity until you've experienced it, right? So this opportunity, who knows how much great goodness can come from this, or terrible things could come from it either way, right? But that's, I think, with any opportunity in life. Like, I have an opportunity right now to be a janitor at the Mecca gym with my son. Now, that seems like perhaps a lowly job for a physician, to be cleaning floors and bathrooms and equipment and whatnot, but I find it to be incredibly rewarding to be able to work with my son in his first job and teach him how to be a man and how to have work ethic. And
Yep.
you know and something really cool about that was, I turned down an interview with a radio station because I had a shift as a janitor, and I told them that, and they were like, "What?" And that sparked this huge conversation that now they want to come and interview me as the janitor at the gym. And
Yeah.
like, now the gym's getting this publicity, and it's like, yeah,
Cool.
it's neat. And I feel like there's so many things in life that you can benefit from, that maybe they're not typical. I hate that word, typical, right? So
Right,
like,
right.
strive to be non-typical. I think that's important.
Right. No, that's awesome, man. I love to hear that. I think there's a lot of value in, the entire conversation you had, but there's a couple of those pinpoints that you kind of almost like change the mindset of what maybe someone thinks is one way, and you kind of completely change it into that kind of positive mindset, which is super cool. And I love hearing about all the things that you're working towards. And I will definitely have to jump on another one and catch up on those, because it just, even from this hour that we've been talking today, man, getting to know you, I love to see these good things and positive things happening to you and your family, and the opportunities coming to your way, man. You deserve it. And it's been a blessing, man, to meet you and hang out with you. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah,
I'm really grateful for the opportunity, man. This has been really, really cool.
yeah, this has been awesome, dude. And like I said, I'm actually probably going to be reaching out more often just to catch up and hang out. I think this has sparked a good friendship for sure, along with the Team Cage Muscle stuff. But
Yeah, right. I mean, it's awesome to be part of the team, Cage Muscle Athletes. And, obviously it's a great company, great products, but truthfully, the people that are on our team are inspirational people in their own right. And, it's cool. You're a product of the folks you surround yourself with, right? So,
yep.
this is a mutually beneficial, I think, in a lot of different ways. I think I've got you in a few years, a few seasons in life, and so I should be able to help out a little bit with, like, this is how you do it, Dad. Like,
Right.
I'll get rid of you.
Yep, for sure. I love
I
it.
mean, best advice I can give you: if there's any toys out there you're thinking about buying, get them now, because once you start paying for diapers, man, those monthly payments are going to go out the window. So,
Yeah, that's what I've
yep,
heard. And
yep.
my wife's already on me. She's like, when we don't need too many, and when we have them, they're going to be organized. I'm like, we'll see when we're on like 30 minutes of sleep for 4 days.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, like, oh gosh, yeah, parenting, those first few years of life when those kids come in, and it's crazy, they change so fast every
oh
day.
yeah,
You don't want to blink your eyes because you'll miss something, and it's just, man, it's really cool experience. And it's also scary and
yeah.
nerve-wracking and stressful. And man, anybody who's been to the Olympics has got iron concentration, iron will, and it'll get shattered and rattled, man, once you're holding that baby.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah,
Yeah.
nervous and excited is exactly kind of how you put it. So.
Yep.
Well, cool, man. Caleb, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking time out to hang out. And I know people are absolutely going to love this. So I appreciate it. And let's do this again, man.
Absolutely, bud. Keep changing the world, Jake. Keep changing the
Awesome.
world, brother.
Thank you, buddy. You too. Good luck with
All right,
everything.
man.
And we'll catch up with you soon.
See ya.
Thanks, man.